Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. For those who are visiting, especially welcome. I'm glad you braved it through the weather outside. We're going to get started with our Erev Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat service. So we're going to begin by lighting the Shabbat candles. Vicky, do you want to come up? The blessing for the Shabbat candles can be found on page 4 in the prayer book, in the Siddur, page 4.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Okay, Yasher Koach. Thank you, Vicky. We will turn to page 5 and we'll begin with Shalom Aleichem at the bottom of the page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom malachei hashalom malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim hakadosh baruch hu. We'll turn to page 11 and continue with the beginning of Kabbalat Shabbat, Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena at the top of the page. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Nekadma Fanav Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Bizmirot Naria lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Ladonai. We'll turn to page 14 and continue in the middle of the page with Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz. Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Umlo, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Yiram Hayam, Umlo, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Betagel Haaretz. We'll turn ahead to page 20, and we'll continue at the bottom of the Hebrew section of page 20, the last 3 lines, Romimu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kocho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kocho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kocho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lehar kodesho. We'll continue now with Lecha Dodi, which is the prayer or the song that officially welcomes Shabbat and begins Shabbat. We'll turn to page 23, and we will do the first two stanzas of Lecha Dodi on 23, the middle stanza on page 24, and then the final stanza on page 25. And when we get to the final stanza, we'll all rise and face the entrance to symbolically welcome Shabbat, the same way that we would welcome a bride that comes in and walks down the aisle during a wedding. Page 23 through 25, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad hishmianu el hamiyuchad Adonai echad. Ushemo echad l'shem ultiferet belichila lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha ki mekor ha'beracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzolato chemune am segula. Boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Ay lay 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 ya lay 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 lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. Now that we've sung Lecha Dodi and earlier we lit the Shabbat candles, we've officially begun Shabbat. So we'll now recite part of the Psalm for Shabbat, which can be found on page 28 in the middle of the page, Tzadik Katamar. Tzadik Katamar yiferach Ke'erez balvanon iske shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od nuvum beseva deshenim Verananim iyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai Tsuri, tsuri, velo avalat habo. Before we continue with the evening service, the Mariv service, I'd like to invite everyone to turn to page 178, and we'll continue with the prayer for the state of Israel. Of course, as always, we hope and pray that the violence there will end, the hostages will be released, and the war will cease. We will sing the beginning of Avinu Shabbat Shamayim together, and then we'll recite the prayer in English. Page 178 at the top. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael Vegoalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael Vegoalo. Barech, Barech, et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Smichat Geulateinu, Hagen Aleha Bevrat Chastecha, Uferos Aleha Sukat Shalomecha. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael Vegoalo. Avinu, Avinu, Sheba Shamayim, Sur Yisrael Vegoalo. Avinu Sheba Shamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people Israel, bless the state of Israel that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, Amen. And I will now share with you a prayer for the hostages. May the Holy One who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, send complete rescue and return to the hostages still held in captivity since October 7th. Strengthen their spirit and bring them our prayers that they may be protected from all harm. May you guide the hand of our enemies to return them in wholeness of body and spirit. Grant strength and courage to the Israeli Defense Forces that they may secure the freedom and security of those in captivity. Grant strength of spirit to all our brothers and sisters, the people of Israel, to remain united and strong in the face of hatred and bigotry. Bring them home now, and let us say, Amen. Amen. We will now turn back a few pages to page 173. We're going to continue with the Mishaberach prayer for those who are ill, for those who are in need of either physical, spiritual, or emotional healing. And what we're going to do is we're going to sing the Debbie Friedman Mishaberach, which is on the top left-hand corner of page 173. I will then read through the names on our list, and then if you have a name that you want to add this evening, you can go ahead and rise in your place and say the name out loud. And if there's anyone on Zoom who wants to add a name, you'll be able to unmute at that time as well. Page 173, top left-hand corner. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Leah bat Sarah, Yaakov Achana bat Rivka Simcha, Shena Rezel bat Sima, Moshe Alayla bat Yovel Sarah, Adam Chaim ben Sarah, Nisan ben Esther, Shoshana Lena bat Yochevet, Kira bat Ariel, Batcha bat Chana, Ernest Edinger, Yisrael ben Ita, Craig Cohen, Moshe ben Maralea, Don Satz, David ben Leah, Melissa Lawrence, Shemira Cherut bat Sarah, Marie Han, Mira Tzipora bat Sarah, Betty Harvey, Basha bat Malka, Glynis Ingal, Elisheva bat Chana, Delma Edwards, Tama bat Golda, Jack Azuz, Yaakov ben Limid, Esther Tenenbaum, Diane Chodorow, Rachel Langer, Jennifer Brown Lerner, Eva Karras, Ken Gasser, Harvey Colchin, Jennifer Hayden, Julia Damaro, Doreen Klosky, Elva Pineda, Judy Pitkovsky, Nancy Levick, Killian Parker, Tanya Bobrick, Marion Kemerlingo, Gary Guto, John Habing, Kevin Robinson, Dan Faith, Nancy Rummage, Lee Gershon, Lynn Sinowitz, Jennifer Rudin, Myrna Steinhoff, Chessie Idenopoulos, Richard Brower, and Charles Brown.
Terry Mechanic, Steve Mechanic, Rob Mechanic, Patty Box.
Any others? Okay, and is there anyone on Zoom who would like to add a name this evening? Mi shebe'erach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May they all find the healing that they so need and so deserve. We will now turn back to page 39a. We're going to continue with the Mariv service, the evening service for Shabbat. I invite everyone to please rise for the Baruch at the top of the page. Again, page 39a. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. You may be seated. Please join me in the middle of the page on the English side of 39a. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's divisions, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Living and ever-present God, may your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. U'ma'avir yom u'mevi laila, u'mavdil ben yom u'ben laila, Adonai Tsevaot shemo. El chai v'chayam, tamid meloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'mahariv aravim. We'll continue with Ahavat Olam, page 40. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shochveinu u'b'kumeinu, nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu, ve'orech yameinu, u'vahem nege yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahabatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, bechol levavecha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol me'odecha, ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom al levavecha, ve'shinantam levanecha, ve'dibarta bam, ve'shivtecha beveitecha, uvelechtecha v'derech, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We'll continue privately, page 42. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Top of 43a. אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name willingly, accepting God's sovereignty. And then Moses, Miriam, and the people of Israel joyfully sang unto you. Top of page 44, we'll continue with Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha boker yam lifnei Moshe, zeili anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. We'll continue now with Hashkivenu, the nighttime prayer for peace, top of page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim, u'feros aleinu sukat shelomecha, v'takanenu b'etzah tova milefanecha, v'hoshihenu Le'ma'an shemecha. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Uferos aleinu sukat shelomecha, baruch atah Adonai, hapores Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We'll continue now with V'shamru and Chatzi Kaddish, page 46. Please rise. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam lai beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Otin le'olam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat va'inafash Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah Ve'almadi v'rav kirutei ve'amlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imeru amen Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itpa'ar v'itramam v'itnaseh v'itadar v'itale v'talal shmei dekudisha le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'meru amen. We'll now continue with the private silent Amidah that begins on page 47 and concludes on page 52. If you are still reciting the Amidah, please continue. We'll now turn to page 54 and continue with the full Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'almadi v'rak kirutei ve'amlik malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chay dechol beit Yisrael v'agalav v'zman karim ve'imeru amen Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevorach, Le'olam Le'almei Almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach Vishtabach, Vitpa'ar Vitamam Vitnaseh, Vitadar Vitlevi Talau Shmiri Kudisha, Brichu, Le'ela Min Kol Berchata V'Shirata, Tushbechata V'Nechamata, Damiran Be'alma Ve'immeru, Amen. Titkabal Tzalotahon Vatahon Dechol Yisrael, Kodama V'Hon Divishmaya Ve'immeru, Amen. Yehi Shlam Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Alim Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'immeru, Amen. Ose Shalom Mimromav, Yaseh Shalom. Alinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'immeru, Amen. We'll now continue with the Friday night Kiddush, the blessing over the wine and the sanctification of Shabbat. We will turn to page 55 and have everyone to please rise, page 55. Savrim Anadan Verabadan Verabotai, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Borei Peri Hagafen. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Kiddushanu B'mitzvotav V'ratzavanu B'Shabbat Kodsho B'Ahava Uvratzoni Nechilanu Zikaron Lema'aseh V'Reishit Ki Hu Yom Techila Lemikra'ei Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu V'Acharta Ve'otanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim B'Shabbat Kodshecha Be'ahava Uvratzon Hinechalotanu Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. And we'll continue with Aleinu, page 56. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon HaKol Lateit Gedula le'oser Reshit Shelo asanu kigoyei haratzon Velo samanu kimishpechot ha'adama Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem Vegor aleinu kechol hamonam V'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malachei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz U'moshav yekaro b'shamayim ima'al U'shechinatu zo begovhei meromim Hu Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu efes ulato kakatu betorato ve'adata hayom behashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim ima'al Ve'al haaretz mitachat ein od al ken Kabbalat Adonai Eloheinu. Kakatu betoratecha Adonai Meloch leolam aved v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We will now take a moment to remember those who are no longer with us. This Shabbat, we remember the yahrzeit of Dora Yonak, Hyman Cooper, Maria Seiduk Tran, Murray Satz, Sadie Landis, and Helen Myrer. And if there's anyone else you are remembering this evening, please take a moment to remember them in your mind and in your heart, and may their memory be for goodness and for a blessing. We'll continue with Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divara kirute ve'amlich malchute v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv imru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal Shemei Kudusha Barichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated for a moment. Before we do announcements, I want to invite everyone to turn to page 59. Because we are in the Hebrew month of Elul, which is the month that leads up to the high holidays, to Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, it is customary to recite Psalm 27, which is the psalm for the high holidays. And so I would like to invite everyone to look towards the middle of the page, the bolded section. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines from the top. We will sing together Achat Sha'alti in the middle of the page. Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai hota avakesh. Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai hota avakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yemei chayai lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker beheichalo lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker beheichalo. One thing I ask of Adonai, this is what I seek, to dwell in the house of God all the days of my life, to behold God's peacefulness, and to pray in God's sanctuary. And with that, I think we have a few announcements before we conclude our service.
Shabbat Shalom, welcome. And our Oneg is sponsored by the Eli Mari, did I say it right? Maru family, and thank you very much. And September 7th is Sunday. We're having the Kosher Men's Club pickup at 6 p.m. Also at noon, we're having our Family Fun Day with bingo, lots of activities for kids, jump house and arts and crafts, and a taco bar, so everybody's welcome. September 13th, we're having our Slihot service. We're having a meal first that's sponsored by the Udine Family Fund, and that's at 6:30, 6:45 maybe?
6:45.
6:45, and then there'll be a service afterwards. And the first evening of Rosh Hashanah is Monday, September 22nd. I didn't put a time for that. Is that 6:30 or 6:45? I should have put times down.
Look it up in all of our literature.
Yeah, right. Okay, and then every Sunday until the hostages are returned at the JCC, there's a Run for Their Lives. It's a national program. They have a little bio, they say a prayer, and they walk around the grounds. And I think the time went back to 12:15. That's what it said.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, so now it's 12:15 every Sunday. It's a community event, churches and synagogues, everybody gets together for that. So that is really important. And Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, thank you, Vicki. Just as a reminder, our Slichot service, our first night of Rosh Hashanah service, and our Kol Nidre service are going to be musicalized. We will have a piano accompanist during those services. So if you are interested in attending those, just please keep that in mind. Our morning services and everything else for the high holidays will be traditional as they always are. Okay, we will conclude now with Adon Olam, page 211, and then, of course, everyone is invited to our Oneg, which, Vicki, is the Oneg in the lobby, or is it over here? It's in the lobby. Okay, page 211, Adon Olam. Adon Olam asher malach beterem kol yitzir nivra le'et na'asa bechefso kol Azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kiflot hakol levado yimloch nora והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו להכבירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית בלא העוז והמשרה והוא אלי וחי גואלי בצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אבקי רוחי בעת אישן והעירה ואם רוחי גוויעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please join us in the lobby for the Oneg. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Good Shabbos.